Welcome back to Star of Play Football. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, as always, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. This is the debate show, Mondays, as always, talking the hot topics of the weekend just gone. That means no Chelsea talk. But Kojo, Basil, what you both say, man? Hope you're good.
Uh, I'm alive, which is good. I don't feel alive. I'm alive. What do you guys say?
I'll share your pain.
It's tough supporting the worst team in your club's history. So I can understand why Kojo feels how he feels.
He looks down and out, man. I told you, man, the Ruben Amorim effects.
Yeah, just for the listeners, this man know I'm sick, but using it for football. All right, say less. We'll get past
Come on,
this.
we're gonna get onto that, man. We're gonna get onto that. We're gonna listen. I never said them words, you know. They never come out my gaffer's mouth. That was your gaffer.
Listen,
And they didn't come out my mouth too. I'm only repeating.
Listen,
like I said, start the show, man.
but let's start with what I thought was the biggest shock of the. Not even the biggest shock, because I did think that Everton were going to win. I said that to my neighbour who's an Everton fan. I said it to someone else on a Saturday that I thought Everton would get something out of that game against Spurs. But I'll come to you first, Basil. But do you think that, although Ruben Amorim has said that this is the worst United squad we've seen, do you think this is the worst Spurs squad we've probably got to witness in a very long time as well? Because not to go to Goodison and play that way, Tamworth, I'm thinking about that game as well. Then you got the North London derby in between that. But this is a really bad spell now for Spurs. I think they're 15th in the league or something like that. Where did they go from here, Spurs?
It's hard because I don't think it's the worst Tottenham. It's the worst performing Tottenham team I've ever witnessed. But I won't say it's the worst Tottenham squad because I know Ruben Amorim's probably referring to his squad when he makes those comments. I don't think it's a bad squad that should that means they should be in 15th place. The squad, when you talk about the players, is better than the position that they're in. But I'll say it's probably the worst. It's the most tactically naive manager I've seen under take charge of Tottenham. That's what I would actually say. Where Tottenham go from here, I have no idea. Personally, it seems like they've lost faith in whatever it is and just trying to implement at the club. The players just don't seem to be buying into it. The players just seem very dysfunctional from an attacking sense and even from a defensive sense. And I generally think things will get worse for Tottenham because ultimately, similar to United and even similar to what we saw of Chelsea last season, where with these clubs, once the fear factor is gone, it gives teams an impetus and an opportunity to actually say, we're going to take the game to you. And that's exactly what Everton did yesterday in terms of the fear factor of Tottenham was gone. And they saw Tottenham as food. They saw Tottenham as, oh, we can actually, we can actually get something. Because it's usually with those type of clubs, when they attack teams, usually maybe one goal, two goals, slow down a bit and try to control the game. Everton could have scored 6 goals in that game. And that just tells you exactly what they thought of Tottenham in that game. It's probably the most attacking I've seen Everton this entire season.
Yeah,
and that just tells you exactly where Tottenham were and how they saw Tottenham in that game yesterday. But yeah, it's really, really bad for Tottenham and really, really bad for Ange. I'll be surprised. We're in January. I'll be surprised if Ange is still there come the middle of February. I'll be very surprised.
Do you think that's what I was going to ask you? That was going to be my follow-up question. But do you think that even him still being here now is an issue? Because maybe they haven't got someone lined up. Maybe Spurs are thinking, we're going to take the hit this season now. We're 15th. We're not going to get top four. We might, at the graces of whatever, get into the Conference League. That's a very outlandish statement because I think that's even out of the realms of possibilities. But is it just a case of we take the hit this season and then we go again next season for them? Is there a point of sacking him now? I suppose is the question.
Yeah, it's definitely take a hit this season. I don't think there's any point of sacking him now if you don't have anyone lined up. And same as what we were seeing with United, even if you bring someone in, if the squad is low on confidence and things are that bad, it doesn't mean things are going to get better anytime soon. So I think the only time I think they'll sack Andrew when it becomes untenable. So if like they go on a run of results where they're not winning games, and maybe if they're actually a bit closer to the relegation zone, I think that's when they'll just pull the trigger and say, "Let's stop this before it gets any worse." But I don't think they will. I don't think they'll sack him anytime soon. I think they'll probably try to keep him to the end of the season, just because I don't think they have anybody lined up. And I don't think Tottenham really want to go down the route of having someone short term at the moment. I think they're probably thinking we need to take our time and find the right manager who we think is going to kind of lead this club for the next 2-3 years. And I don't think they have someone in place, which is why Ange is still at a job. Because truth be told, if it was any other big club, he would have been sacked already.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He would have absolutely been sacked already.
And this is why I know Spurs are going to say they're, you know, a top 6 club or whatever they want to say. Like, I don't know where this top 6 came from, but they're really not. When you look at it, and this is no disrespect to Spurs fans either, but they're really not a top. They're not a top club. They're not. And the way that they're losing games, I actually think they could be in trouble. I know it's going to sound crazy. I actually think they're in trouble this season. They're so lucky that Wolves, Southampton, Ipswich, potentially Everton are all playing, if not just as bad as them, they're playing a lot worse than they are. Because I think if they were churning out a couple of results, I think they're 12 points off the bottom 3, they could go down this season. Like, that sounds crazy, but they could go down.
No, Theo, it's not in the realms of impossible, because bar Southampton, I think Southampton are down anyway. But
6 points.
The other clubs, I think they're just down anyway. But the other clubs, all they have to do is string in not even a run of results. All they need is 2 back-to-back victories, and that breeds confidence. Because then when you're realizing, oh, now maybe we're 1 point off safety, it gives them confidence, and you can easily get dragged into a relegation battle. It's not in the realms of impossible. Sometimes you may think 6-7 points is safe, but sometimes it isn't, because if you continue this rot of not winning games, and like I said, all it takes is for those clubs to win 2 games in a row, you're close. And that's when it starts to be, that's when the pressure starts to come in. And it's funny because Tottenham's big club status is a weird one, because they're a club who haven't won anything. At least when you look at Arsenal, Chelsea, City, United, Liverpool, they've won things over the last 20 years, or even more, let's say the last 25 years. They've all won something of significance. Tottenham haven't. They've only won 1 League Cup during that period. So even the big club status should be called into question, because ultimately they're based upon financials, not based upon any recent history.
Yeah, they've got a good stadium. That's where it ends for me. Like, their stadium's good. They've had some top managers in terms of Jose, Conte. They birthed out a good Gareth Bale. You know, he done well there for them. They got to the Champions League final. They obviously had Harry Kane, one of the best strikers in the Premier League, allegedly. They've had some good moments. I'm seriously not even trying to banter them, but I just think with Spurs, this is their cycle. You know, they go through a little bit of a good run, they get to like a final of something, or they go on a good run, they might get top 4, they miss out on that, then they end up with a new manager, the new manager comes in, new ideas. The problem is they've got the same owner, and the whole time they've gone under this, it's the owner. The ownership of that club is what's going to cause them all these issues. With whoever the manager is, they're going to have the same problems.
And Theo, just to add to that, I think that's where, if I was a Tottenham fan, I do feel sorry for them sometimes, because it's been an ownership of just no ambition. I mean, we've had that at a period with the Cronkies, and at some point they had to kind of switch and say, we have to invest in the club. But at least prior to that, with David Dean at the helm, there was always an ambition that we're buying to win, we're buying to kind of compete. I mean, obviously it kind of slowed down when obviously the Cronkies came in, and then obviously we had to kind of be financially savvy because of the debt we accumulated through the stadium. But it's like, for as long as I remember, I've never seen any Tottenham owners who are ambitious to kind of do the right things to take Tottenham to the next level. And there have been times where they have been close, and you kind of just wanted them to make the right decisions and kind of make those 1, 2, 3 signings to take Tottenham to that competitive level. And they just haven't done it. It's just the same cycle with no change. And at some point I was like, you can't continue doing the same things and expecting miracles to happen. I mean, they had a miracle when they got to a Champions League final, but that's a one in a million miracle. But since then, they haven't shown any ambition to do anything. At
all. Not at all. Kojo, let's talk Everton, because Everton done really well. I watched the game yesterday, and I thought for Sean Dyche should come out week in, week out and say, I'm trying to find solutions with this team. I'm trying to do this with this team. I'm trying to do that with this team. I get the new manager bounce. Theoretically, he's not a new manager. He's been there 12 years ago. But David Moyes to come in, and I thought they played really well against Villa midweek as well. But to come in and play the way that Everton did against Spurs, albeit against a team that was probably, under a lot of pressure from the Tamworth game and the North London derby. But Everton played really well. And do you think this is a turning point for them in their season where they, those relegation sort of talks might fade away if they can continue on a good run of games?
I mean, yeah, if they start to get a good run of results, then the talk of relegation will disappear. It's a big year for them, more so than ever, because usually they are in relegation battles, but you are literally next season moving into a whole new stadium, and the worst thing you can do is spend all that money on a new stadium and get relegated. It'll be disastrous across the board. So they need to find results. And look, David Moyes, I think he's come back rejuvenated, because obviously we all know his path after Everton and how it didn't work out at United, it didn't work out in Spain with Sociedad. He went to West Ham. The first spell wasn't so fun. The second spell was a lot better, but you can see the improvements in his managerial ability year in and year out. And I feel he got his mojo back. I think that's the most important thing. I feel like he lost his mojo after United. And he was just trying to find a way to bring himself back up. And when a manager goes back to their, the old stomping ground, and they have that newfound energy and life about them, it can only reflect well on the players. And I think that's the most important thing. It's not a disrespect to Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche didn't do a completely horrendous job at Everton, but there comes a time where you look at his signings, look at some of the players that he had, and even when he got there, I feel like he was trying to just recreate Burnley with McNeil and what's his name, Tarkowski. And with all due respect, those players got relegated with the previous club. So what the hell are you bringing them to this club for, to stay up? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So David Moyes, I think, has a bit more pedigree, especially with the fact that he brought West Ham their first trophy in a long time, and first European trophy in their history. It's stuff like that, and it gives you good sort of good presence around the players. And when you're brought back in, it's like, okay, yeah. And he knows Everton more than anything, more than ever. No matter how many things change, he knows the club inside out. He knows the fans. He knows the feeling. So yeah, I run the results, and I've always said I think they'll be fine. I don't think they'll get relegated. I just think it'd be funny if they got relegated after building a new stadium. But that's just me, innit? So yeah, but they'll be okay. They'll be okay. As for Spurs, boy, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not scoring in 16 games and he finds a way to score R9 type Inter Milan type goals against you, then yeah, you're in trouble.
That's with three at the back as well. This is what was shocking about Spurs. They played three at the back.
I don't know why he did that.
Three at the back against Everton.
I don't know why he did that. I think obviously he's been playing Dragusin and Archie Gray. I feel sorry for Archie Gray. That's a guy who's coming. He's supposed to be a promising youngster, midfielder, developing slowly. Spurs, obviously, because they get, like you said earlier, they get close and then they don't add that extra investment. You get two centre backs that are really good for you. They get injured. You have only one centre back to cover them. It's poor. And you can't keep bringing back Ben Davies for his 5 games in a year form run. You know what I mean? So yeah, honestly, it's a shit show, to be honest. It's a shit show. I mean, you said it keeps happening with manager after manager. They got close twice. Poch finished second up behind Chelsea that year. You guys had a phenomenal year, but they had a good amount of points. They had a good season, and he said that you need to replace the furniture sometimes. But I think he realized earlier than anybody else that these guys had won as much as they could, and they didn't back him. Oh, sorry, they did. They bought him Musa Sissoko, and then who's the other one? Yeah, you know what? Mourinho gets you to a final. Yeah, the league form's not great, but we get to a final. But 5 days before, we'll give it to Ryan Mason. Yeah, man.
5 days. It's like the day before. It was like the eve.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's less than 5 days. Yeah.
I'm being kind there. So the day before, Mandem's not getting ready to go on the bus, and you're just like, "Yeah, man, I ain't with you."
Jose must have took the final. He must have took the final, the training session before that final. He must have done. I reckon. I swear, that's how close they sat to him. It was like literally less than 48 hours for the kickoff. So with Spurs, I ain't got no sympathy for them at all. Because listen, you can't play 3 at the back, and that 3-2 result. in a couple of years, we might look back and forget how bad they played in that game yesterday, because a 3-2 makes them look lovely and looks pretty.
Yeah.
But them 2 goals, let's not say this is a 3-2 game, because it really wasn't. This could have been 3-0 to Everton in the first 10-15 minutes of the game. Like, they were that bad. So I don't know, man. We have to see. But let's move it on. Let's move it on, because I do want to go back to Arsenal's game. Arsenal against Aston Villa. That was the evening game kickoff, I think, on Saturday.
Yeah.
2-2. It was a game. Listen, Basil, talk to me, man. I don't know how this happened. When it was 2-0, I thought game done, game set and match. But as Arsenal do, talk to me, man.
It's a weird one because Arsenal fans, I think, direct their angers at the wrong people. Because throughout that game, when I was checking it, everyone's kind of blaming Partey. And I get it, because obviously Partey is a central midfielder playing right back. And obviously they even tried to blame him for the first goal, which I personally I don't see. I would blame more Mourinho than Partey, because I'm assuming they're blaming him because maybe they didn't close Digney down quick enough. But I'm like, that's ifs and buts. Mourinho should do better with Tielemans. It's just lazy for Mourinho. Obviously, you can definitely blame Partey for the second goal in terms of a lapse of concentration. But what I'm saying is that they're trying to blame him as a whole as to why Arsenal lost. But there was other issues. Even before the first goal, Martinelli, once again, on the counter-attack, running into no man's land. We were on a counter and he was running into space. All he had to do was play Trossard. He kind of runs into no man's land, has to play back and recycle it. And then when we lose the ball from him, that's when we concede the goal. So people forget that. If he's a bit smarter and wiser with the ball, we do better there. We don't give the possession away and concede. I think it's just typical of Arsenal. The thing with Arsenal you have is that you don't know where the goals are going to come. So even like when we were 1-0, you could hear Gary Neville on the commentary saying Arsenal need the second goal to kind of feel safe. And I thought when we had the second goal, we were safe because we were actually the team controlling the game.
Dominating. Yeah.
Dominating. But it's the issue with Arsenal you have is that we concede one goal and, all kind of calmness just goes out of the window. And so even when we conceded the first goal, I kind of knew the second goal was coming because Tielemans almost scores about a minute or two later when he hits the post. And so you kind of sense a second Villa goal was coming. But then the issue you do have is when the second Villa goal comes, you sit there and you don't know where the next Arsenal goal is coming. I knew when they scored the second goal, I knew they were going to score a third. And that's the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool right now. Liverpool always look like they have a goal in them. For me, it doesn't matter whether Liverpool are 2-0 down or 3-0 down. I always have a feeling Liverpool are going to score goals. And if they score one goal, multiple goals are coming. The issue with Arsenal in this course is they're trying to win games tightly by one goal because they don't really have multiple goals in them. Even the Tottenham game, I was surprised when we went 1-0 behind. I was surprised we even managed to score 2 goals. But even though it was a poor Tottenham side, we should have scored more than 2 goals. And I think that's the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool right now in terms of our attack is just it's just not working at the moment. Our approach is the same thing. I mean, I had friends say we pinned back Villa, which isn't the case. We didn't pin back Villa. Villa sat back as the Newcastle and as the other teams because they're very comfortable in terms of just sitting back, knowing the crosses are going to come in and knowing that it's easy to defend against Arsenal because it's the same old approach to try and score goals and it's the same too. And then I'll end on this before I let Kojo come in. I guess there's a lot of players who performed very badly on the day. Martinelli, Marino, I still do not know what Marino offers us at this club. Didn't do anything. Havertz was shocking once again. And even Odegaard, I think in the summer, what Arsenal need to do, because I've always said this, and I'll continue to beat this drum, in the games that matters, Odegaard for me is highly ineffective. I've always say this all the time. Look at the comparison of how effective De Bruyne was against Ipswich in terms of his decision making and his effectiveness on the ball compared to Odegaard. I think in the summer, Arsenal need to find an attacking midfielder to replace Odegaard. I think Odegaard should be a squad player rather than someone playing week in, week out because he's not consistent enough to play week in, week out. That's me personally. He's a wonderful technical player, but he's just too slow on the ball, half a second slow in terms of releasing the ball, making that decision. And it's just all style and no substance with him. That's what I get with Odegaard. in the games that matter, I personally do not want Odegaard starting games. And in the future, we need a replacement for him, whether that's Wanyeri and he steps up, or whether that's someone we bring externally, because this can't continue with Odegaard season in, season out, going missing in the games that matter.
I agree with a lot of that. I do. I'm gonna let Kojo comment because I know he's been waiting his time.
I'm just patiently listening, man. Now, look, firstly, I think the goals that Villa conceded kind of screams to my point about your issues at fullback. You can't keep having makeshift fullbacks. It's the one thing that I always agree with you when you're talking about the poor recruitment side of things with Arsenal. Always when we talk about Edu, I don't necessarily agree that he was an utter disaster. But there are moments where I'm like, when you're building the squad, obviously it's a bit. I'll be fair. You sign fullbacks like Tomiyasu and Tierney, but the risk is they're injury prone before they come. So now they've got loads of injuries. You now need to back up. Tierney's been there for a while. You even sent him out on loan. So that in itself screamed that you needed another fullback just in case on that left side. Ben White being your only, I wouldn't even say natural because he kind of came through as a centre back at Brighton and all that.
Yeah, he's not a right back, he's a centre back.
Exactly. He's done well at Arsenal at right back, but you can still see in his game that he's missing the natural abilities of a pure right back. So I've always said, if there's anywhere to criticise, as much as people talk about Arsenal need a forward to score goals, and fair, they probably do, they definitely need to improve the fullback. And again, Partey, a centre midfielder / defensive midfielder by trade, Miles Lewis-Skelly, a midfielder by trade, playing right back and left back. They don't have the instinct to close down crosses in those positions when they're coming in, and that's where the goals came from. And that's where where my issue is, because I hear what you're trying to say about Mourinho, but one, I'll give credit to Digne. The quality of the cross was fantastic. That's difficult for anyone to defend. It's very tough.
I think Partey can close that gap, though. I'll be honest. I do think,
that's what I was alluding to. That's what I'm alluding to. That's why I'm criticizing them more than Mourinho. I understand the whole Mourinho should track his player a bit better, make it a bit more difficult for him to get there. But those things do not happen if the people in those positions block the ability to cross. But that's what happens when you don't have a natural player in those positions. And it's a recurring theme.
Coach, I've got a quick question. Because the reason,
go on.
No, I was going to ask, because obviously you alluded to closing down. Because of how far Digne was, and most times when I watch matches, even fullbacks don't really close down players when they're that far out to cross the ball, which is why I do. And it's a theme I've seen. So I question whether it is because they're midfielders or whether it's trait, because even fullbacks sometimes when a player's that far out don't always close down players very quickly that far out. So I do wonder whether it is fair to kind of criticize them.
So my assessment of that, whether they're fullbacks or wing backs, depending on formation, is my issue with a lot of fullbacks in today's game is when they have the opposition coming at them, they tend to back off a little bit all the time and let them dribble at them. But the initial gap to allow you to cross is not there. You have to work a little bit, or maybe play a ball back to the player that's supporting you to whip that ball in. So sometimes you see Salah, for example, with Liverpool, touching the hugging the touchline a lot more, because in that moment when he passes it in for Trent to whip it in, there's always someone on the far side where do you come and attack the cross. That's how I assess it. So when I'm seeing Arsenal and their problems, that's why I keep talking about the fullback cards. I'm not going to sit here and say I can give you 5 fullbacks that are great at blocking and defending that, because in this era of the game we don't have that. But that initial gap should be closed, and they don't have the instinct to do so. I was having a discussion about that, and someone said, Partey is a defensive midfielder by trade, so he should be comfortable going into challenges. I'm like, players of today, even if their instinct is to tackle, once they get into a new position, it's like they forget what their instincts are. They feel like they have to go and learn something new. You don't. Sometimes you just have to play your game there. You're put in a position because the manager feels like your abilities match what I need in that position right now. Obviously, you're not going to be the guy permanently, but hopefully over time, if I need you there, you can do it. Partey just doesn't have that instinct. And you can see when you guys are in possession, he always ends up back in the middle. And I feel like watching Arsenal, I don't feel like he's been told to be inverted. I feel like he just naturally wants to drift in there because that's his position. and it's
It's a
costing
habit.
you guys.
It's a habit. You get accustomed to just drifting into that midfield.
Exactly. So I feel like that's where my criticism of Arteta is, and I do in terms of the recruitment side. Now, honestly, I don't know where your season goes from here. I'm going to be very honest, because
I think they're still in it, though. I think they're still in it.
no, they are, but right now it's not a case of they are because they are the best challengers to Liverpool. I think they are because it's mathematical. That's how far. That's where it is for me now, and I'm just being very serious. Arsenal haven't addressed these issues, and look, I'm not saying go and spend 50 million on 2 fullbacks each. I'm saying be a bit aware of maybe signing maybe 1 or 2 loan players, or just being a bit smarter in the market where you can find. I'm not telling you to sign a top player. Sometimes just buying a player that can play there at a decent enough level is good enough until you get your first teamers back into those positions. Until then, you're playing a risk. You're playing a big risk. I think he's going off the assumption that Arsenal are better than a lot of teams in this league, so they can play position football. While you face a team that might not be in the same form that they were last year domestically, but it's still a damn good team. And it's the second year they've come to the Emirates and cost you a huge game. So it's very naive management, and it's very naive recruitment. But this is what happens when you don't bolster the squad properly. And I'll say this about any other team. It's just poor in general. So I think Villa were worth their point, but the glaring errors are because they're just areas that are just not being addressed. And of course, yes, you do need a number 9, because thing is, I don't want to be too harsh on Havertz, but you're playing
Be harsh.
Be harsh on him,
No,
please.
Yeah, be harsh.
Because I'm gonna come to him in a minute.
The Arsenal and Chelsea tandem, I know.
No. Anybody can get it. Anybody can get it.
Look, the reason, I'm going to be harder. On him, but this is what I was just going to say. So the issue again is recruitment. Again, I have to keep coming back to this, because at Leverkusen, we all saw him. This guy was never a number 9. He never played as a number 9. At Chelsea, he came in. Theo, remind me if I'm wrong. He played quite a lot as the number 9, but did he play always as a number 9?
He started on the left as well.
He started out quite wide.
Okay,
He started quite wide on the right.
And then the right,
and he was kind of floating around, and then
he didn't really have a role at Chelsea.
Then,
to be honest, he didn't have a role.
Okay, perfect. So that feeds into my point. So that's perfect. So when you're now looking as again a recruitment, like I do, when you're looking to sign a striker, you sign Gabriel Jesus, you're not completely sure that's working out with him. So you have money to go and find number 9. You're going to spend 65 million on someone that's never been known or played a permanent position as a number 9 is naive. And you can see in his game, because there was a time where you had the ball on the left side and you crossed it in. I think Trossard crossed it in and there was no one there.
Okay. No one there, and that was a great cross. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. You're like, Havertz should be there. And I was saying the same thing, because me and Kel watching the game, and Kel was like, bro, Havertz, you should be there. And I was like, yeah, he should be there. However, position, he missed it. Where he ghosted into the box at that, not me trying to make excuses for him. That's just me saying that's what you've bought. So this is what
Kojo,
you got to work with.
Kojo, what people forget is that Havertz a failed signing because he wasn't signed to be a centre forward. That's what people forget.
As a centre midfielder, I know, and that's even worse.
Yeah, Arteta signed him as a central midfielder. It didn't work out, and then they kind of just figured him out as a striker, which is even more damn. Exactly. That's the perfect way to describe it. Reverse Joe Linton. And then now and as you said, it's not a natural number 9, so it's not working out. But I'll say this right, also, because when you look at Arsenal and Villa, look at the squads. Even with a full squad, look at the options Villa have. McGuinn wasn't available. I'm not sure Barkley was available. Look at what they have. They have McGuinn, Barkley. Who else is there? They have McGuinn, Barkley, Onana,
talking about
Morgan
Villa.
Rogers. Yeah, this is Villa. Morgan Rogers. Who else? They have like Jacob Ramsey. They have a wide range of options. Bailey, Duran, a wide range of options they can bring off the bench. Look at Villa's squad compared to Arsenal squad. It's nice and day.
Arsenal brought on, was it Sterling, the only player that came on?
Sterling. He was the only person we could bring on.
And he stunk up the place as well because he
And
He's done.
to back up your point, with all those options, they still went and going to sign Marlon as well. They're not finished.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, you said there you go. So that's what I'm saying. So you have all these other clubs who have been very smart in their recruitment in terms of squad building, and Arsenal aren't. And I'm saying, like I said this, a lot of Arsenal fans have pulled up their nose on Chelsea. And like I said, because we know Chelsea spend a lot of money on their midfielders. But let's analyze Arsenal for a second. Because Arsenal spent just as much money on midfielders as Chelsea, because we spent 105 million on Declan Rice. We spent, and I'm going to include Havertz. We spent 65 million on Havertz. We then spent 35 million on Marino. Apparently, we're going to spend 55 million on Zubimendi. That's almost nearly 250 million pounds on midfielders. And we probably may still need more midfielders. So Arsenal fans are criticised Chelsea for spending a lot of money on midfielders, Salcedo, Enzo and co, Lavia and co. And Arsenal have done the same and still haven't sorted out that position. What does that tell you about the club?
I think it's a good point, but I still think we're both in the same boat for doing really bad deals though, because Lavia's still injured.
We are, but you have the difference. I understand Lavia's injured, but you have the quality there. Where technically now, Theo, you don't really need to go and buy a midfielder. It's just we do make sure what you have work.
You know, tonight's game. Tonight's game, because I think Enzo Fernandez is a doubt. Lavia's injured. Cesare Casadei's meant to be going to Italy. Dewsbury Hall's going to West Ham. Yeah. So we haven't got any other midfielders. So we might have to put Renato Vega in midfield. So we have done really bad in recruitment, like really bad, like to the point where even after like £300 million, we still need midfielders. So you're right in what you're saying. It's also, you're like two steps behind us. You're nearly where we are at 250 million, and you still need midfielders, just like we do. So I get what you're saying though. Like it's poor. Yeah. It's poor recruitment from both teams, I think.
Yeah.
I put this on the screen because we didn't talk about this, and why I want to talk about Havertz, because I think he was at fault for the second goal as well. Because I think Matty Cash whips the ball into over the top of Arsenal's defence. Like Kai Havertz he doesn't.
And he misses a fair header.
Yeah, he's got to be one of the tallest players in that Arsenal team, and to not even connect with the ball. Nah, man.
It was a coward, and people didn't pick up on it, because I picked up on it when I saw the first replay. It looked like a coward. It looked like a cowardice header.
He ducks
because
out.
It didn't look like a It ducks because it doesn't look like a header of someone who's actually committing to. I looked and I thought, hold on, like he kind of pulls out of the header. Yes. That's what it looks like to me.
And then this, you see this here? I tell you what, I would have ran on the pitch. I would have got a touchline lifetime ban from the Emirates for this. You see, because you see this guy.
Yeah, you're harsh.
You see this guy.
Yeah, you're harsh.
I had flashbacks of what's his name, Jack Grealish? Was it Jack Grealish when the fan ran on? Anyway, listen, you see this here. I can't even play it because they'll try and take the video down. But you see this here, Arsenal fans. I'm going to ask both of you. To me, it's handball. I get why it was given.
Yeah.
When it comes to you,
we don't have to discuss this, bro. You know the answer, man. We all know the answer. We all know the answer. It's handball.
Kojo, come on. All day.
All day is a handball. All day. Come on. You can see it.
Do you agree, Basil? No, I want to.
Of course, there's a handball. I don't understand fans who are trying to make out like it's a conspiracy and there was no handball. It's a clear handball. Yes, there was one angle where it didn't look like it. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say it's annoying that he shouldn't be there though. Yeah. He shouldn't be there. He should not be there. Like, if I could play it, you'll understand why. But in real time, he should not be there. His body position.
I remember Arsenal were just trying to they're popping off shots, but I don't remember why he was or where. What the
let me play it on the TV so I can explain it. I've got it on my TV at the same time, so I'm trying to But when you watch it back, he should be. His body shape should not be. Oh, here it is. Look, his body shape should not be where it is. He should be more ready to take the shot on, and his body's towards to Moreno. That's why it's handball.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. What you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's towards it, and then I see. Yeah,
so he's turning. Now he's turning his whole body to try and get out of the way. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like why are you in the way of the shot, man? He's frustrating.
But as you say, it goes
65 million.
It goes back to what Kojo. It goes back to what Kojo says, which I was in terms of even if you're not a centre forward, even as an attacking player, it's just anticipation and readiness and body positioning for certain things. So, like I said, he's there, and the way he's positioned to do nothing. Because as a player, you either position yourself, say, give me the ball to receive it, or kind of be on the half turn to say, slip me in. But even
Yes,
if you have a strike, I'm ready that if the keeper spills it, I'm ready there to kind of capitalize. The way his body is positioned to do nothing. That's
exactly,
the thing. So if Marino,
exactly.
so let's say he doesn't block it, and Marino takes a strike, Martinez palms it into the middle. He's not ready to even pick up the
He wasn't.
seconds,
The second ball was not going to be his
and
because
that's it. Was exactly. So that's thing. Like he's I don't know he's and I don't know whether it's football intelligence, but he's just understanding and reading of the game in times of those attacking positions just isn't there, which is
I'm
another
watching it
which
now.
goes back to Kojo said, yeah.
I'm watching it now. He wasn't even, and he knew that Marino and him both knew that was not a goal because when it happened, I see Marino look straight at the ref, and shamelessly went to try and celebrate the goal, and he knew it wasn't a goal, and I thought you lot are fucked up, man. And then, but before we move on from Arsenal, I do want to say that I thought Villa played well, but I also thought that Leandre Trossard played very, very well. I thought Trossard played very well for Arsenal. I think he's put in two good back-to-back performances for me as a neutral anyway, where I think he's kind of, I'm not saying he's carried the team. I know you don't believe this, Basil. I know, but I think he's
I kind of agree with Basil on this one. I'd always going with it, but yeah,
no.
It's
I'm
like
not.
it depends.
Go on.
It depends what it is that it's moments. But if you
Yeah,
look at
they
if you look at
moments win
both,
you
if you look,
games.
they are. But then the thing about Theo, there's difference. You can say moments. If you don't have, if you're very useful with the ball, and you have moments, and you can elevate the performances. The issue you have with Trossard is outside of those moments, there's a lot of stupidity he does on the ball, and you will see it both in the Tottenham game and both in the Villa game. Like sometimes he's shooting. I've always said it's so way off. How many times does he shoot the ball over the bar? I don't understand. This season, shooting's been atrocious.
Do you think that comes
Sometimes
back to not having a clinical goal scorer, so he feels like he's got to take the shot
it,
on?
but
Even
no, but it's just got worse because prior to this season, there was times he could strike a ball cleanly, especially this season particularly.
yeah,
If you watch Arsenal regularly enough, his ball striking this season has been absolutely atrocious. Now the issue you have with Trossard is that, especially in the Tottenham game, obviously he scored the goal, which for me is more bad goalkeeping, and he had moments, but then it's that final end product. He lets himself down, and even in the game against Villa, sometimes he gets the ball and he's not knowing what he wants to do with the ball, or sometimes he's just ineffective with the ball. So what people see is they'll see those few moments and think, "Oh, he had a good game." But as us as Arsenal fans who pay attention, we watch him entirety, and we say in his entirety, if you take those moments away, he's been really bad. Those moments make him look good, but really and truly, he's been really bad. But that for me goes down to how low standards are because we praise players for doing the bare minimum.
a minimum.
Where this bare minimum, where this would have been the standards of wingers prior to maybe 2000 and maybe 15. They would have given you these on a consistent basis, and sometimes they wouldn't have even got the praise for doing these. Whereas now we see players do one or two good things and we say, "Oh, he was fantastic." No, he wasn't fantastic. But what we've done is because the
I
stand,
said he played well. I said he
because
played well. I said he played well.
I personally don't think he played well. I don't think he was bad. I don't think he played
Fantastic said
well.
level up. He wasn't fantastic. He played
Fair
okay.
enough.
He played okay.
Fair enough. He played friend. I give you that one. It's okay.
Yeah.
But for me, it's still not to the standard. And I'll say this last thing before we kind of move on. I know Sterling dropped a stinker when he came on, right? And I feel sorry for the lad because I think his criticism is so unfair. And the reason
You
why I say is
reckon?
that the guy has a no, let me tell you why, Theo. Let me tell you why. How can you expect a guy to have rhythm when given the minutes he's played? The guy hasn't played more than he hasn't played consecutive games ever since he's joined Arsenal. I don't think he's had more. Like he's barely had any starts. He's barely played more than one game in a row or more than two games in a row for Arsenal. He barely gets any minutes. I'm like, how can you bring a guy on the 82nd minute and on the 82nd minute and expect him to work miracles? Of course, the guy's going to be rusty. Like it's so unfair because I'm like, he's playing with a manager that has zero belief in him and doesn't even give him opportunities. The other players, there's no jeopardy. Martin is bad week in, week
Professional
out. Trossard
footballer,
plays
man. I'm
bad week in, week
sorry.
out. I get I get Theo, but it's unfair because really and truly, when you actually accumulate the minutes that he's had and the starts that, it's next to nothing.
But you know,
It's next to nothing. And then
certain
people,
players though, come on and they change the game like that. I'm not saying that I can't give you an exact example of that right now, but there are certain players that don't get given the minutes all the time. I'll tell you what, John Duran, when he first went with Villa, he was doing that. Yeah. He was coming on, he was impacting the game and doing things like that.
Here's the difference for you. John Duran comes on as a regular substitute. Sterling doesn't. That's the thing. Because Sterling can go 3 games without coming on, then come in 10 minutes,
pro, man.
and then go next.
He's a seasoned pro, man.
I tried.
He's seasoned. I'm sorry, like this guy.
I feel. I can't. Theo, you're doing well. Making me and Basil agree on a lot of things today.
I know, listen. This is what it's all about, don't it? But I'm telling you from now, Sterling, when he came on, and there's a reason why I don't think he's getting the minutes. There's a reason why I think he wasn't getting game time at Chelsea, because I think he's just. I'm not saying like he's done enough to kind of like sit back a little bit, but I think he's lost a bit of love for the game. I'll be honest. I don't think his heart's in football that much anymore. I generally think that he's comfortable in London. He's got the nice pay packet coming in. I think he's just happy to do his little 10-minute cameo, get his little yellow card and go home. I think that's what he wants to do. No, I generally think he's won the Premier League. He didn't win the Champions League, but he's won enough. He's not. I don't think his heart's that much in football. I think he's just happy to kick 10 minutes of football, and he doesn't look too concerned that he's not playing football, if that makes sense. Do you get what I mean? He's not knocking on, he's not trying to get into that team, I don't think. And look, Arteta and that, they see him every single day on the training ground and see what he's doing. If he was doing enough to get in that team, trust me, I think Arteta will be playing him.
Fair enough.
That's my personal opinion, I think. But he's a seasoned pro, man. This guy is not, he's like, he should be the one that's leading the Martinellis or forcing the Martinellis to sit on the bench. But he's the one that's the other way around. He's getting he's coming on 82 minutes in, and then 2 minutes in, you're picking up a yellow card. No, man. As soon as I looked to see him come on, I thought, I guarantee he gives away a foul, and I guarantee he gets booked. And I looked on Paddy Power as well. I was going to back him money-wise, financially. I was going to back it, and I thought, nah, let me not do it. And then I was kicking myself because it was 4-1 for a foul, for one foul. Listen, this guy, get him away from the club, man. I think he's done. I think Sterling's done, man. He's happy. He's happy to do his little thing. Do you know what I'm saying? But let's move to United. I've just been watching your goals then. I've just been watching your goals on the TV then. Listen, because I didn't watch it live, obviously, the game. I was watching the other game that was on. But boy, Brighton, Matoma, Mazraoui, what are we doing? Dennis Law, rest in peace, man. You didn't have to, do you know what I mean? You have to do him like this, man. Sir Alex right there on the pitch, clapping at the start of the game and everything. The mice were in full effect. You seen all the mice at Old Trafford as well. You seen the videos midweek. You see that? You see all the mice.
What's that to do with the match, bro?
You see all the mice. I'm just saying, man, health and safety, hygiene, all them things. The mice were having a field day in them stands on yesterday. But no, in all honesty though, like, come on, Kojo, man. What is going on with United, man? Because I generally do not see how this team gets any better.
I don't know how many times I have to keep telling you, but the team sucks. Like, again, look, I can go on and on, man. Firstly, Brighton have beaten us 3 times in a row at Old Trafford, 3 different managers as well.
That's crazy in itself, though. Listen, that's crazy in itself, though.
But this is the whole point this is the point I always make about when I talk about United. People think I'm trying to like go around in circles and be around the bush. No, it's just, and truth be told, what I'm saying is just what's happened. When I talk about Arsenal's recruitment, if I talk about my United's recruitment, you're seeing the.
Oh, no, yours is far worse. Yours is far worse.
No, yeah. Okay, you know what? Listen,
let me try and pull up a list. Let me try and pull up a list.
Premier League Belgium with this whole getting close and then bottling it when it really matters. I'm not hearing from Arsenal today. Please, you've had your part. Look. Again, we can go through players and all that stuff. We've done that before on this pod, so it's all right. The fact is, look, you're just seeing what the guy has to deal with, and quite frankly, the guy being Amorim, and quite frankly, the squad just needs a lot of proof. Today, we're hearing about Anthony going away to Betis on loan. That's good news. So that's one squad out.
Is that a loan with option or mandatory or
no option? No. Smart.
No option.
No option. No, so they're smarter than that. Come on now. They're smarter than that. But look, it's right now. Where we are right now is a lot of these players. We just need to try and get a fee for them, unless their contract's running out this summer. It's very simple. That's as simple as that's where we are right now, and it's because of lots of years of bad recruitment. Sorry. Now, what you saw against Brighton was, quite frankly, just a lot of, I don't know what the word is. I'll put it to you like this, actually. Yeah, I'll put it to you like this because it was very much a moments game. You talk about moments; it was a moments game. I'll give you the example. They went ahead, fine goal. Then we start controlling the game, putting pressure on. We were getting pushed and pulled over the place. So had a couple of fouls, weren't given, whatever. We got a penalty. The penalty was dubious. There's fouls before that should have been given, but he gave the penalty, which was not really a penalty, but hey, it is what it is. Cool. 1-1, you get goals. And then this is why I'm talking about players that need to be shifted out one by one. And I feel like I keep saying his name every time, whether it's in a small section of the show or a big section of the show. But Diego flipping Dallo is one of the worst fullbacks I have seen play for this club. And I'll tell you why, right? So Bruno Fernandes is usually criticised for his passing, but in this game, he gave you three through balls. The weight was excellent. And Dallo's first touch invited the defender to tackle him in a one-on-one situation. It is scary. And their second goal, after the goal that was ruled off for a foul on Dallo, because he had his foot kicked, it was another one of those situations where you get a pass through and you have that left side, you have acres. You have acres to just run on that left side, and then you have Xerxes, you had Ahmad trying to follow in, so you just try and stay as wide as possible, cross it in, find one of them, try and get that goal. Bruno is just behind you. And instead of taking that touch out left, he takes it into the middle, straight into Dunk's position. I'm like, it's like you're doing it on purpose now. You go to see goals. And this is what I'm talking about. It's always moments. These players in particular. So the new thing that's obviously now the media one, and it's good that I watched the full press conference after of Amorim, because the headline is he just said, this is the worst team in Man United's history. That's not what he said. He's actually gone and said, you know what, I know you guys want a headline, so I'll give you one today. Statistically, this is currently one of the worst teams in Man United's history. I'll give you a headline now. And you're smiling in their faces as you're saying it, because to him...
right here. Got it right here.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was looking that he could... The thing is, the press, and from that first day... Can you play this video, by the way?
We're playing it now. I don't care. We're going to play it anyway. It don't matter. Don't worry about that. Nobody watch that.
This guy said, I don't want to get into trouble, but I want to play the clip. I can't hear it, by the way.
You can't hear it?
No.
All right, let me leave it then in case we get a little strike. We don't want to get a strike. But
there you go. But yeah, back to the man at hand. He basically he said, look, I know you guys been looking for him, and he's smiling in their faces. Statistically, and I know it's been bad. If I played 10 league games, we won 2. It's not good. It's obviously not good. Think about how the fans feel. Obviously, I'm in the reality. I'm the one that manages the club, so I know how it is. It's not good, and it's very bad. But you got no choice but to pick it up. And you can see in his selections, bit by bit, he started to try and weed out who the problems are and who the guys are, sort of inconsistent. So, for example, for this game, Martinez, who had a shit show against Southampton, was dropped for Euro. Dropped for Maguire. Maguire came back into the team. They licked in Euro on the other side of him. He brought Mainu into the thing. Mainu was taken off at halftime against Southampton. So in my opinion, I don't think he should have started this game. I think he's struggling to find his form. But I also feel like he's struggling to find his, I guess, partner in the midfield. The problem is, not even a problem. The issue for him is Ugarte is not going to get dropped, because Ugarte has been the best performing midfielder for us since Amorim came in. He's been breaking up play, all sorts. And when he comes off, you can see that we no longer have someone to break up that play, and becomes a lot more easier for the opposition to get in. So Ugarte is not going to be the one to get dropped. So you need to find a way to play next to him. The only person that's worked with him well in the midfield too is Bruno Fernandes. But Bruno Fernandes naturally is a 10. So you're not going to play him there long term. It's all these things that need to be fixed, but that's why I always talk about recruitment. That's why I mentioned Arsenal's recruitment. Arsenal you can say they're in a better position, but what Arsenal want to achieve, they're not going to achieve it because their recruitment keeps coming to bite them all the time. Man United in a far worse position because this has been years of bad recruitment. It's not even just now, it's been catching up on them year in and year out, with a couple of years in here and there where they've grabbed trophies or they finished second and it looks like they've had a good year. But in those years when they finish second, you watch their games and you say, I can beat that Man United team. That Man United team's not that good, but they'll find a way to get results. This is what I'm dealing with right now. And every time Man United have a loss, this is going to be the dialogue because it's true. This is what people don't seem to understand from even the inside of United fans. United fans always think that the new thing is, the system, the formation, it's not going to work because Man United and this crop were so successful playing 4 at the back. I remember when Man United won the league with what's his name, Maguire, Martinez at centre back, playing 4-4, 4-5-1 or 4-2-3-1. They've not been successful with 4 at the back. They've not been successful with 3 at the back. But he's got a system that's always worked for him in every club he's been in before United, and he's been successful. So he's not going to change for you. You guys will be shifted that one by one. That has to happen. But look, Brighton
I got a question on that. Do you think he should be... I'm not saying change his ways because I don't think a manager should change his ways, but do you think he should be flexible to an extent because of the players that he currently has at the moment? So, of course, he wants to play a certain way, yeah? When he gets his players in the summer, he's going to be able to hopefully have a say who comes in through the door, who leaves, and whatever else. And he can bring in players that he then fits his system. Clearly, he's got a system and a style that he wants to use going forward. But I don't think he's got the resources to do that right now. So is there an argument to say that he should be, as a stopgap, just to cover over the rotten wood and whatever else at Old Trafford, just for now, change something? Because it's too easy for teams to play this the way that he's playing because he hasn't got the players to play in the way that he wants his team to play, if that makes sense.
But I hear that, but the players haven't played well in a, what would you call, maybe a preferred sort of change of style. Like what I want to make to that point is the current crop of players are just not able to control games point blank period. That's why they can grab results against Arsenal, Liverpool, City, because those teams will come and attack you full throttle and they don't have to be as cautious because they expect to go out there and dominate the game. Whereas Brighton, I'm not saying Brighton can't control games. You can see they're a possession-based team, but they allow that bit of cautiousness because at the end of the day, no matter what the form book reads, when it comes to United versus Brighton, the name United always carries out. Man United should try and get a result here. And the fact is, Brighton haven't been in good form in the last couple of months. We've spoken about it on here. We've seen that the form has dropped recently. Yeah. So it's not alien to say that United should be doing better in that game. You got I say a poor win against Southampton because you dug it out very late, but before that,
it was a poor win, man.
They gave you too much. They gave you too much trouble, but you won. So the idea is you build some sort of momentum. You try to build some sort of momentum that turn that into form. Try and get 5 games where you get maybe 4 wins and 1 draw, or even 3 wins and 2 draws. It is what it is, but at least you don't lose. These guys don't do that, so that's why you're going to keep seeing these things. And that's just what it's going to be, man. And that's why I keep saying, I reiterate, I don't have an issue with him. He shouldn't change anything because managers in the past have continued to change things for different crops of players, and it's not worked. It's just not worked. It's facts. Because they can't control games. Yeah. They love counter-attacking football. Rashford had a broken back after lockdown, and then they started making him play fetch football. So like he's a dog. You take Rashford to the park and tell Bruno Fernandes to drop it long, and Rashford just run. Mm. And now you're here at the situation where you've got players that don't know how to control a game, only how to try and do counter-attack. But it's funny, when they went against City, because City were also in bad form, when United had times to try and control the game, they looked a lot better. So it's not that they are completely incapable of doing it, but they're far too inconsistent for you to keep changing things because nothing's going to change for them. So as far as I'm concerned, just keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, these guys get weeded out. One's already gone. And one will be going soon. I'm not talking about Rashford. Ronaldo's been telling this to I want to say it for the last 2 weeks. So just make the bid and get him gone as well. And there's some money to reinvest. And I'll make this point because, final point, Man United have passed FFP 3 years by the skin of their teeth, but they did. So you've got another 3 years to run ragged. They've just got past PSR. So quite frankly, I'm not going to lie to you, man. Just give this guy some money, man. And I'm not saying 600. I'm not saying 600 million. I'm not saying that stupid sort of spending again.
But he's going to need that. if you're being realistic, it's going to need that and a whole lot more.
Long term, he's going to need it, but you have to be a bit more intelligent in the market, and that's why I like going for someone like Dogu, because the previous regime would have gone to Bournemouth and said, "I want to give you 35 million for Kirkes," and they say, "Give us 89." They'll be like, "I'll give you 88."
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Negotiations done.
Exactly. So at least think before you move. But Dogu's not a bad choice to start to go with, and he's young as well. It's starting to build with. So yeah, we'll see.
Basil, I want to come to you on this because we spoke yesterday in the group and we were saying about, obviously we spoke about Maresca's press conference and how he's handled things, and then I said that I think I know I'm sort of paraphrasing here, but he said that this is one of the worst United teams. I think statistically, I think he might use that word statistically or something like that. He's doing worse than Erik ten Hag in terms of form at the moment. How do you reckon the current players, whether they're staying or whether they're going, whichever, how do you think they will feel going into Carrington this morning, hearing that the manager said that this is one of the worst United teams, whether he meant it in that way literally or, you know what I mean? Like he meant it in another way. How do you think they're going to feel, and how does he continue to try and get at least a couple of points and get them pushing up the table a little bit now?
I don't think it makes a difference. I think even he's understood now. I've reached the point where nothing can really motivate or change his players, which I think he's actually come out with a statement. Ultimately, I think it's naive from Amorim because I think I don't think he's fully understood the British media, what they're like and what they can do. And obviously he tried to be smart, saying, rather than you guys make something, I'm going to give you something. Not realize it's going to backfire because they're always going to take it and twist it. Because no, the reason I say it's Kojo. No, actually, go Kojo. And then
I want to see your reason you think it's backfire.
No. The reason why I say it is because when he first came into the league, it was all darling love. I lost count of the amount of interviews that he did with people.
He even said that, didn't he? He said, "I can't believe I'm doing this much interviews in this short space of time," or something like that.
Couldn't believe it. But then obviously now the tide has turned because they're not getting the results. And the reason why I say it's naive, Coach, is because with the British media, they're bad at any time, even when you don't say something. It's even worse when you say it, because what I'm saying is that we can understand what he's saying, right? Because I understood he was talking about statistics. Obviously, he didn't say statistically, but I understood he's referring to the fact that statistically, we are the worst United team. The press are not going to print out that way. And what they're going to do, and like I said, we know how United, especially with United fans, they're very emotional now because of the results and because of where they are, because of the players they have. We don't want to feed into that. And he's just giving them the hand me to like, oh, take a quote, misquote it. And obviously, like the first thing I saw was the reaction, Kojo, from the United fans online. And a lot of them weren't happy of him saying that. From what I've seen, maybe they might be in a different section with a different view, but a lot of people weren't happy with what he said. I was like, you basically given them that when you shouldn't have given them that. The ammunition. And now they're going to run with it. Maybe, and the reason why I say that is because he said it, because obviously English is not his first language. He said it in a way that can be misinterpreted. That's where he shot himself in the foot. Because if he came out and said statistically, we are the worst United team, you could say, well, at least he's funny statistically. He said, no, we are the worst United. Obviously, he had his dialogue before. He said, we are the worst United team. All they have to do is quote him verbatim, and that's it. Right, that's all they have to do.
Okay, I'll take that point.
Yeah.
Firstly, please, just like Arsenal fans, don't listen to Man United social media fans, please, because you had an idiot about 5 minutes into the game come and say Manu is the worst product to come out in Man United's history.
I saw that.
You're probably too young to watch someone like Darren Gibson. Just then keep going, or David Bellion, or these bums. Plus, just idiots, pure idiots. These are the same people. Same another guy. Shout out! I love Fuad. Shout out Fuad and SDS Pod. But Liburn over there, after a guy that's been injured, he came to join the club. Joined the club, got a major injury. He started about 3 or 4 games for United, and he said his future at Man United is already looking spooky.
He's still young.
It's going to take time.
Yeah.
No, bro.
He hasn't started well, but he's still young.
Bro,
very young.
Even if he was 35 years old, he's played 4 games. Yeah. Give me a flipping break, please. Just give me a break with that nonsense of, oh yeah, it's looking spooky. United fans online are very sensationalist. Now, the Man United fans I interact with, the group of them are in a group chat because unless I'm criticized, and the only ones I interact with on social media are the ones I laugh at when I criticize what they say and I give you laughing emojis. Those guys are not the ones to take seriously. The ones I discuss football with are in my group chats. Those ones are not in panic mode. And to be quite frank, they kind of mirror the reaction around the fans that go to the games and the people that talk around that sort of side. There's no panic there, and they even back in Amorim. If there's any issue with what he said, like you said, they don't want him to give something to the media to feed on to. But the media have been looking to feed on United ever since the day Alex Ferguson left. So that just doesn't change anything for me. I want him to talk his talk. I want him to say these things with a smile on his face. The only time I'll become very concerned is if he comes next August and he has greys all over here. Then I'll be very concerned.
I generally think, I was going to put in a group chat yesterday, he might have a hairline like mine soon, because the stress of the job. No. I swear to God, I was going to put it in the group chat yesterday. I think the stress of the job, and when I said he looked dejected, I wasn't taking a piss. I genuinely don't think.
I think he does.
I don't think he realised the magnitude of the job.
I agree with you. He was dejected, and that's naturally though because he's gone from like into all the media side, his style of play, his formation, his approach to the tactical approach to games has worked no matter the situation. And I keep saying to United fans in particular that the situation he had at Sporting arguably was even worse than it is here because he went to a club where the players and the fans had rioted. The players didn't want to play for Sporting anymore. Bruno Fernandes left the year prior, so he didn't even have Bruno Fernandes. He came into a club that didn't want to play football, but he found a way through and he was persistent. And that's my whole point about being persistent. But United fans are very emotional.
You think it's different over here though? Because I think the media over here won't allow him the time.
The media are looking to always going looking to feed, and that's why they keep giving him bloody interviews because they're always looking for something to grab onto. Always,
they're a voice to the fans though. See over here, fans listen to the media, whereas maybe
but fans are stupid, so that bun them. And
they have a voice, Kojo. This is what I'm saying. They have a voice.
Fact. I have a voice too, and I have a voice too. And I always say,
of course, you're a fan
as a manager, and I always say as a manager, I think managers should never ever listen to fans. I keep saying it now. I say it all the time.
I hear you.
Thank God, fans are not managers. My goodness, we'd be in the shitter. We'd be the absolute shitter.
Kojo, I've got a quick question because one thing. Amrin seems to be like very, very honest in his interviews, whether that's before matches or after matches, which I think is kind of refreshing. Just have a manager kind of just say things as it is, bluntly.
Honest.
What's your thoughts on? Do you think it's a good thing, or do you think maybe it's something that potentially could backfire as time goes on if things don't pick up?
No, I think it's fine. Do you know why I think it's fine? Because I think we'd all be, and I'd actually consider him foolish to think that he can come on TV and lie to our faces looking at what we're watching right now.
I don't think he should lie though, but I think there's a you know how Ange, you see it, a little spin on it. Bun that. Right. I was gonna say because I don't know, man.
Maybe it's easier of looking from the outside into the whole United thing, but the inside. The noise you get about Man United news and the players and this, that, and the other, the one thing that they've always had is a spin. It's just what it is. They've always had a spin. It's always had this little bit of.
You can be honest. You can be honest, but not brutally honest. I don't think for me.
Sometimes you need to be brutally honest, though. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Sometimes we all forget about football. It's just in general. Sometimes you can't always just give people a little truth and leave out.
Remember when I said that about the Maresca thing and I got shot down? But I'm just saying, innit?
No. But the reason I had an issue with Maresca,
I'm joking, man. I'm just on
but you made a fair point with the Maresca thing, and the reason I had an issue with him is just because I thought in that moment you were up there, so it sounded weird to come and say.
But were we going to win the league? Like, honestly, could you see us pushing Liverpool?
I said you were competing. I didn't say you're going to win it. I said those guys were going to win it. I said those guys were going to win it, no matter the cost. No matter the cost. I said
I got shot down.
Got shot down for my views. You're competing, and because you're competing, I don't think it's my idea. I'll say it's not. Yeah.
No,
if
go on,
Amorim
Kojo.
next season
If
goes,
I'm
he
in
goes to United, has a wonderful season out of nowhere, we're second, and he goes, yeah, but we're not ready. I'll look at him like, brother, what the flip are you talking about, bro? Don't do that.
Yeah, but
Because
then
I want
the,
I want to install that confidence that, or continue to install it. But like you said, he could be saying something behind closed doors that's different,
could
and it's
be,
true.
yeah, true.
So it just
But you see,
depends.
like the likes of
But,
Ahmad and the likes of the players that are playing well at United, if I was hearing my manager say that, it might make me think a bit differently about how I'm going to apply my next performance. Do you know what I mean? And
well,
I'm not
I
saying
think
it's
I
right
think
or
that's
wrong, but I'm just saying,
I think that's the key of being brutally honest. Because I think in the same time, in the same breath, I think you can go to these players and say, "You are my guys," and someone like Anthony, who when he came into the club, Amorim, second day in, the news was going around that he already told Anthony that in January, I think you need to start looking for a club. I will use you
which is
when I
fair,
can,
which is fair. Yeah.
but you got to look for a club. And lo and behold, he's going to Betis now. Sometimes it's needed, man. So if this is the regime, so be it. But he's got my backing no matter what. So
Oh no, he's
until
got to
then,
get the backing because he's
yeah,
a young up and not up and coming, but he's a young manager that's proven himself. He's a good manager. I just think he needs the resources, and if United properly back him in the summer, you get rid of some of the players that you need to get rid of. I think you've got yourself a good manager. You could then go on for a good couple of years and have a good manager.
well,
The
we'll see.
issue is, the issue you have is that I don't think you realize just how bad
Yeah, that's
things
what I
are,
said.
just in terms of like the regime itself, because the regime itself at the moment looks very, very messy. There's
Yeah,
people leaving and doesn't seem clear, and then also with the players. I mean, you
yeah,
come out for, I can get something, because obviously, like most people, we looked at him for. Yes, we know the players aren't good, but then we looked at what Ten Hag was doing and say the manager
yeah.
himself hasn't helped himself. So we kind of say there's a lot. It's like you can depend on how you want to weigh up. There's blame with the players and then blame with the manager. So he probably looked at him for, well, I wouldn't have done some of the things Ten Hag was doing. So he was probably thinking I can probably get a better tune out of these players than he did if
Then
I also
realised he can't.
tweak things and work with the guy. Yeah, like I said, I think he's coming and realize, oh,
Shit,
I think,
shit really has hit the
yeah,
fan.
I
Literally.
think, I think,
yeah.
he, I think, he, I think he clocked that prior, and I think that's why he was trying to ensure that he finished his season with Sporting before he came. But United came and did the
Yeah,
whole.
probably no,
It's
but
now,
no, coach. I think,
or never be.
yeah, I agree. I think he knew how bad it was. I just don't think he realized just how
Yeah, the
bad. I think
level.
he knew it was bad, but workable
Yeah,
bad. But I think
yeah,
now he realized, oh, this is bad, bad.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's
I
what's
agree
going
with
on.
that.
Well, either way, he's got to find a way regardless. Look, and this is not his squad. He's always going to make changes. Even if it was fine results, he has to make changes. But this is,
Mm.
in all, to sum up, all to blame Ineos and them keeping that flipping boldy. Respect to all bold
Yeah.
people.
Quick
My
question.
dad's bold.
All
But
lives
Theo,
matter, man.
Yeah.
the guy in particular, bun him.
Man said
Quick
BLM, you
question.
know.
Quick question, Kojo. Who do United have next in the league?
I believe it's Fulham away.
Ooh,
Exactly. No, but this is the thing, though. This is the thing. You're doing
Oh,
that
and
at
fairness,
this point.
it is Fulham away because my brother's gonna watch the game. I don't know why he's doing it to himself. My brother's gonna watch the game.
The thing is, you guys just did that. Right now, Man United against anybody is. So
just gonna say you got Rangers before that as well.
exactly. And I was got one of my guys. He's from Scotland, and I said, listen. He's a United fan, but I said, listen, you're from Scotland. You know how the Scottish fans are, man. When they want to really G up their team, they will. And the players will react. So we'll see.
We'll see, man. We'll see. But no, it's been good. It's been a good discussion, man. Just before you both go, obviously Chelsea versus Wolves tonight. Quick predictions. Who do you think is going to win? What's your scoreline going to be?
1-1.
1-1.
Ooh.
I can't take that.
I'm getting 2-2.
2-2. I can't take that either. Sorry, guys. I can't take that. We need the 3 points, man. We got City on Saturday. So I just done my preview for that. I said 4-1 to Chelsea. I'm not well. I'm dosed up on paracetamol and all sorts of other things. So I went for 4-1.
I think your defense will give Wolves quite a few opportunities, and I think Wolves will gather confidence from that. Obviously, Wolves will definitely want to keep a clean sheet. We know that for a fact. But that's the reason why I think it'll be 2-2.
Yeah, it'll be a close game. We'll be previewing that maybe tomorrow on here. So, Kojo, Basil, thank you very much. Pleasure as always. Enjoy the rest of your weeks and whatever you get up to. Hopefully, Kojo some results this week. Europa League, Fulham. I also got a week off like Chelsea, I think. I know, yeah. I'm just trying to be nice, Kojo.
Stop it.
I don't think you got Arsenal ain't got a midweek game, have they? I don't think. Or you got what?
Champions League, you know?
Wednesday.
You got
Yeah,
Champions
Champions
League.
League Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Well, we don't have that buffer. I mean, we got a week off, Conference League and all that. But no, enjoy the rest of your weeks. We'll be back soon. Thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the videos, all that stuff, man. We'll be back soon.